See, despair. For everything you have, what might. So, negative aspect it is. Yes.
Because people ask me, for instance, my Italian friends, when you're on the aircraft, do you not have fear that the aircraft will fall down?
Yes.
Okay. Say, when the situation comes, then I will do the necessary.
Yes.
But I will not be afraid.
We were both together. We were on the boat in Bolivia, in South America. The boat was almost sinking. There was a storm. It's a big lake, Titicaca Lake. One of the three big lakes. One is Baikal Lake, one is Titicaca Lake, another is Manasarovar. Three big lakes on that altitude. So we were on the middle of the lake. Suddenly there was storm. Our boat is very small. One motor stopped working. One engine crashed, and it is getting in the evening dark already. And the boatman told us there is no question of survival anymore. We are going to sink. Then we said, we don't worry. So simple. Yes.
Because then he had the idea that he will land on any land northeast of Earth.
But then he told us that no question of survival, because and the lake is so deep, there is no question of survival. Because already our boat is like this. The water is coming into the boat. Boat is like this already. And we were there. And there are a few young people, they asked us, what will happen if we sink and die here? Nothing will happen, I said. It's so simple. We leave the body, that's all. If you want to return to your family, what will happen? Nothing will happen. They will survive like before. So, if there is some task still there, we will survive. If it is the will of God, that if it is the will of our Master and God, that there is some more task in this incarnation, then they will take care of us. Otherwise, if they think that is finished in this incarnation, we welcome it. Why do you worry? Yeah. So, we were just enjoying the situation. We were just remembering our Master, because at the time of leaving the body, we have to remember either Guru or the Lord. Why should we worry about all these things? Because we know we have incarnated many millions of times, and we are going to incarnate many millions of times. So why should we worry?
The other experience hanging in Switzerland.
Once in Switzerland, we were hanging on the telepheric and 3,000 meters high in the sky. Big storm there also.
Big storm, thunderstorm, flashes.
Big thunderstorm around us, strong winds, and our telepheric is like this for 2 hours.
And then was time 6 to meditation.
At 6 o'clock in the evening we were there, and we were meditating normally as usual. Because we cannot have this opportunity to meditate on that level. See? You see, if we want to meditate on that level on the sky, how can you have an opportunity? So now there is an opportunity. So we said, let us meditate normally. We meditate. If we are there, okay. If we are not there, okay. No. So we are meditating. And the other fellows, some British fellows are there.
Was a British lady.
Yeah.
Closely to collapse.
Yes, see, the British lady collapsed, and luckily we have some emergency medicine. We have given the medicine. We have made the treatment also at that moment.
My 2 children were also.
His children were there. His wife were there.
Sitting on the bottom.
Yes.
And
we were very calm. 2 hours. It was quite sure that we are going to crash. We were ready. For anything, ready for anything.
So you learn to live.
So unless you get free from worry, you cannot do that. So no worry. Just be like that.
This is a training.
It's a training. It is a training. We have to undergo this training. We have to practice this. And despair and constant introspection. This is another thing. Introspection is not required. You have to observe yourself
Even in this situation, it's a good example. This is the
Yes. And then morbid emotional suppression. This is another thing. If there is emotional disturbance, so if you try to suppress your emotion, that is much more dangerous. You have to let it free and go away, but not keep suppressed and locked in your mind, suppressing the emotion. If I am angry upon him, express it in some way or other, and or otherwise through meditation or something, get rid of it. But if I keep anger inside, but outside, I am very angry upon him and say, oh, you would have. So it is not, for him it is nothing. For me, any time my heart or brain may crash. If you suppress the emotion, there will be crash of the brain or heart or something. So never you should have emotional suppression. You have to make it evaporate it, not suppress. We should not suppress, we should not fight. If you want to fight with your emotion, it will be more stronger. Because again it is an emotional approach. When there is anger in us, some of these so-called practitioners, what they do, they get angry upon the anger which is there inside. Oh, there is a lot of anger in me, I have to get rid of it. But you are again doing the same thing, increasing this. Intensity is increased more. You should not be angry about yourself for the anger.
This is what we have in the third lesson.
Yes.
Was your father gay? That's exactly this
Yes. Angry, hatred, jealousy, all these are all there. But you should not try to fight with them. You draw your attention towards a better thing and this will disappear. That is the only thing. If you give importance and trying to fight with this, it will increase. It will become more stronger. So emotional effort or emotional approach is not useful to get over these things. Hatred. If you keep hating others, then there is no problem for the others. It's for you.
This is what your father said. You have never to hate a human being, but you can hate the expression.
Yes, only the expression. Yeah.
How you express it.
Yes.
But this is a moment for
It will help the other person.
If you hate him,
if you hate the person, then there will be emotional fight between you and the other person. You hate the wrong expression and you explain this, then you will help the other person also to get out of this. Then that is the only way, positive way. So you must have always a positive approach.
There is such expression that if you hate somebody or offend, it is like to take poison, so the other one would get.
Yes, it is true.
You take poison, so because you want that he will die.
And conflict is another thing. And temper, conflict always. This conflict is external conflict or internal conflict. Both are same. If you have conflict outside with other persons, or if you have conflict with your inner self, either way, it is going to damage the system. And this damage that is caused, it is through many years, a long period. And that is why normal medical science cannot correlate the sickness to these things. That is the problem. That is only the homeopathic science which could explain this. And prolonged irritation, that is another thing. Some persons, you see, the irritable nature, that irritable nature prolongs and prolongs for long. Prolonged irritation, very dangerous. It is like a fire. It is just like having fire in your pocket. You know, if there are some burning pieces of fire, if you put in your pocket, so prolonged irritation is like that. It is going to burn away from inside. If you are angry upon somebody, you tell that I am angry with you. It's finished. But if you keep this inside, it's like a fire. Frustrated sex life, that is another thing, very big problem. Frustrated sex life. It is also expressed in several different angles. So this is because if you have no proper understanding and training how to use this sex energy, then you will get into frustration afterwards. You will get into misuse of this. The misuse of sexuality will lead you to frustration of the sex life. And that leads to so many disturbances. And then self-pity is a very big enemy. The biggest enemy is self-pity. You must show your compassion, your pity unto other suffering person, not self-pity. If you are held in self-pity, then what happens is you can never be in any spiritual advancement. And you can never be happy. Self-pity. Oh, I am doing so much of work. That is an impression. We are not tired because of doing work. You are tired because of self-pity. If I feel that I am working so much, then immediately you are finished. Self-pity. You should work, but you should also balance. You need to balance your physical capacities, your mental capacities, all these things. That is true. But not entertaining any idea of self-pity. This is also emotion. If your emotion is focused on the other person, if your emotion is focused to yourself, in any way it is a disturbance. So self-pity is to be completely eliminated. Of course, not by fighting with yourself. Self-pity, it is always, we must be conscious of when you think of yourself, how you are analyzing yourself, how you are directing yourself. If you follow the discipline, if you follow the regulation, if you follow the teachings of the scriptures and masters, then you can overcome self-pity. That is what the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita also. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. When you work, when you perform your duty without attachment to the result of the work, then you are synthesized. Then there is no self-pity. You keep doing your work. Because whenever any idea comes in our mind about how much work we are doing, then we must think that there are so many other people who can work more than us. So therefore we need not have any self-pity. That is what we have to do. And inner tension is another cause, another one. Inner tension. Always tension. Many people now in the modern society live with tension in the mind. Always in a hurry, tension. When you study homeopathy, you have many remedies where you find this hurry and tension and all this. When you have tension, then you always make a wrong type of action. Suppose a person has to attend to a very important meeting, for example. So he is tense. Suppose a person has to face an interview, for example, he feels very tense. Suppose a student is going to attend to examination, he becomes very tense and nervous. Then what happens if you are more tense? Even though you know the subject, you have studied very well, but you cannot make proper answering in the examination because of this tension.
It's very hard to relax.
So you must train yourself to be relaxed and avoid the tension by practice.
Only practice.
And you know, there is a subtle thing in the, especially why the students, most of the students are so tense is they feel tense that about how I can remember all the subject and present in the examination. It is a simple psychological solution. Suppose you are a student, you are studying the subject which is to be presented in the examination. So from the day one, from the first day itself, you are studying the subject with an intention to remember and not to forget. The same person, if you read a story, some stories, some interest, some book, you will only read normally and you will never forget that. You remember that very well. If you could remember the other thing very well, why you will forget this? Because here in your effort you have an obstacle. What is the obstacle? I have to remember this, I should not forget this. This becomes an obstacle.
Maybe this book is interesting.
No,
And that the book is interesting.
it is only the interest. The interest also depends upon this. If you always constantly keep reading this, I should not forget, I have to read again and again, then you will lose the interest. But the other book, you will not lose the interest because you have no problems. You are reading just normally. So therefore you will not forget this. So you have to read your subject also in a very such a wonderful, in a very such casual manner, then you will not forget. If you have these ideas always constantly, then you block yourself. That is why students are always blocked.
I can tell you a story what I did. I was trying a lot of education. So someday